Hello students, so let us continue our discussion on Riemann integration. We start with the theorem today, which also gives another criterion for integrability, you can say. So let f from ab to r be bounded function, then f is integrable if and only if there exists a number I such that for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a partition P of AB satisfying mod of UPF minus I is less than epsilon and mod of LPF minus I is less than epsilon. So it can be proved just from the definitions of partitions and infimum and supremum. So let f be integrable, then we have in lower integral, upper integral and lower integral, they are equal and the common value is denoted by a to b f dx. So start with any epsilon greater than 0, then by definition of upper integral as the infimum of all upper sums, there exists a partition p1 of ab such that u p1f is strictly less than upper integral plus epsilon. This already we had discussed in earlier lectures as well. Also by definition of lower integral as the supremum of all lower sums, there exists a partition p2 such that lp2f is strictly greater than lower integral minus epsilon. So that can be written as a to b f dx minus epsilon. So we take p as p1 union p2, then p is a refinement of both p1 and p2, and as you know, refinement decreases the upper sum and increases the lower sum. So upf is less than or equal to up1f, and this is already less than integration a to b f dx plus epsilon, and lpf is greater than or equal to lp2f, and that is strictly greater than a to b f dx minus epsilon. Thus we get modulus of upf minus a to b f dx is strictly less than epsilon, and modulus of lpf minus a to b f dx is strictly less than epsilon. The modulus comes because upf is always greater than or equal to the upper integral, because upper integral is the infimum of all upf, and lpf is always less than or equal to the lower integral. So the modulus appears there. Integration a to b, if we consider this inequality, integration a bar to b f dx, this quantity is always greater than or equal to lp2f. So if I change the sides, bring lp2f this side, so it will be integration a to b f dx minus lp2. Okay, so that quantity is always non-negative, so we can bring in modulus there. So it follows that this difference is less than epsilon and this difference is also less than epsilon. That means we have found out a number which satisfies these conditions. So thus we take integration a to b f dx as the required value of I. Conversely, let there exist I such that for every epsilon greater than 0 there is a partition P of AB satisfying these two conditions. So here I is not given to be integration a to b f dx, we do not know anything, we just know that there is a number I which satisfies that. So we have to prove that f is Riemann integrable. Let epsilon greater than 0 be given, then by the given hypothesis there exists a partition P1 of AB such that up1f is less than minus I is less than epsilon by 2, and lp1 of f minus I is less than epsilon by 2. Also by definition of upper integral as the infimum of all upper sums, there exists a partition P2 which satisfies this, right, this quantity, and so we take P as P1 union P2, then P is a refinement of P1 and P2. So UPF is less than or equal to UPTF, just now we have done, and UPF is also less than or equal to UP1F, right. UPF is less than or equal to UP2F, it is also less than or equal to UP1F. So 1 implies, what was 1? 1 was this condition. So if we split the modulus, if we use this inequality, then mod of up1f minus I less than epsilon by 2. This will imply that up1f minus I lies between minus epsilon by 2 to plus epsilon by 2. So that means I minus epsilon by 2 less than up1f less than I plus epsilon by 2. Okay, similarly I minus epsilon by 2 is less than LP1f less than I plus epsilon by 2. But what is the relation between LP1f and UP1f? The lower sum is always less than or equal to the upper sum. So we can write I minus epsilon by 2 is less than LP1f. This is less than or equal to UP1f less than epsilon by 2. Again, any lower sum is always less than or equal to any upper sum, irrespective of the partition. This also we had proved earlier. So LP1f is again less than or equal to UPF. Thus combining everything, we get I minus epsilon by 2 is less than this, and this is less than UPF, and since P is a refinement, so this is less than or equal to UP1f and less than I plus epsilon by 2. So ultimately we just pick up this and this, we pick up this 3. So ultimately we get I minus epsilon by 2 less than UPF less than I plus epsilon by 2. So we have got a partition which satisfies this criteria. Okay, so again UPF is less than or equal to UP2F. So UPF minus upper integral, this is less than or equal to UP2F minus upper integral. Okay, so UPF minus upper integral is strictly less than epsilon by 2. So we have used the inequality 2. This inequality we have used. UP2F minus upper integral is less than epsilon by 2. Right, so we get mod of UPF minus upper integral is less than epsilon by 2. Now what is this modulus? This modulus I minus a to b bar f dx can be written as I minus UPF plus UPF minus this. So using triangle inequality, this simplifies to less than or equal to I minus UPF plus UPF minus the upper integral, and this is less than epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2 by 3 and 4. So we have already seen 3 and 4. Okay, so ultimately we have got 0 less than or equal to modulus of this quantity and less than epsilon for any arbitrary epsilon. We started with any arbitrary epsilon, so hence this quantity has to be 0. This is the only option. This is a non-negative quantity which is strictly less than every positive real number, so it has to be 0. So I equal to integration a to b bar f dx. Similarly, we can show that I is also equal to the lower integral f dx. So that means the lower and upper integral are equal, that is f is integrable. Okay. So then there are some standard results which we will discuss. Some integrable functions. So if f from AB to R is monotone, that is either increasing or decreasing, then f is integrable. So let us consider the case where f is monotonic increasing function. Then f of a will be less than or equal to fx and less than or equal to fb for every x inside AB. So hence f is bounded. So every monotone function on a closed interval is bounded, right? Because the value of the function lies between fa and fb. So here we can take fa not equal to fb, because if fa equal to fb, then f is a constant function, right? If fa and fb become equal, if fa and fb they become equal, then this function is fx equal to fa for every x. So it's a constant function, and we have already seen constant function is Riemann integral, so there is nothing more to do. So we assume that fa not equal to fb. So we start with a partition P equal to x0, x1, x2 up to xn be any partition of AB. Then small mi is infimum of fx in the interval xi minus 1 to xi. And since f is monotonic increasing, this infimum should be the value of the function at the left end point. And capital Mi is supremum of fx in this interval. Since f is increasing, so the supremum is the value of the function at the right end point, right? So let epsilon greater than 0 be given. So we need to compute UPF minus LPF to check the integrability. We are using those theorems that we have done. So what is UPF minus LPF? It is summation of I goes from 1 to n, mi minus capital Mi minus small mi multiplied with xi minus 1. Now this can be written as f of xi minus f of xi minus 1, already we have seen, into xi minus 1. But each of these quantities, xi minus 1, that is the length of the subintervals, each of these lengths is less than or equal to the norm of the partition P. Okay, so each of these length of the subintervals is less than or equal to norm. What is norm? Norm is the length of the largest subinterval. So this is less than or equal to this quantity multiplied by norm P. So norm P can be taken outside the summation. So we can take norm P outside the summation. Right, norm P can be taken outside this summation. So this is equal to less than or equal to norm P multiplied with, if you add up this quantities, you will end up with f of xn minus f of x naught, that is nothing but fb minus fa. So this quantity can be made less than epsilon by choosing norm P, that is the mesh of the partition, less than epsilon by fb minus fa. So we get our value of delta. This is the value of delta that we made. So if we choose any partition with mu p less than delta, that is the norm P is less than delta, which is given by epsilon by fb minus fa, then for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta equal to epsilon by fb minus fa, such that for any partition P of AB with norm P less than delta, we have UPF minus LPF is less than epsilon. Okay, so hence f is integrable. So the case for monotonic decreasing function can be proved similarly. Next is, if f from AB to R is continuous function, then f is integrable. So we know that a function that is continuous in a closed interval is bounded in that interval, and it also attains its bounds. Thus, for any partition P equal to x0, x1 up to xn of AB, we have for each I equal to 1 to up to n, small mi equal to infimum of fx, such that x belongs to this xi minus 1 to xi. This infimum is actually attained at some point. So this will be exactly equal to f of si for some si inside this interval. Okay, and similarly capital Mi, this supremum of fx in this interval, this supremum is also attained by some point, and that point we write it as f of ti for some ti inside this interval. Okay, and another theorem that we will be doing here is the uniform continuity. If f is continuous in a closed interval, then f is uniformly continuous. This theorem was also done in the earlier semester. So let epsilon greater than 0 be given. Since f is continuous on the closed interval AB, so f is uniformly continuous on AB. What does that mean? For this given epsilon greater than 0, we can choose a delta such that mod of fx minus fy is strictly less than epsilon by b minus a. So there is a reason for choosing b minus a, we'll come to know after some time, such that mod of fx minus fy is less than epsilon by b minus a for every xy in ABs which satisfy mod of x minus y less than delta. So from here we get the idea that we need to choose the partition P such that the norm of this partition or mesh of this partition is less than delta. So if the norm is less than delta for such a chosen partition, so the length of each subinterval will be less than delta. So since Ti and Si, they belong to xi minus 1 to xi, so norm of mod of Ti minus Si is also less than delta, right? Because mod of xi minus 1 is the total length of the subinterval, and Ti and Si are points inside this. So distance between Ti and Si will be always less than or equal to mod of xi minus 1. So Ti and Si are points which satisfy that modulus of Ti minus Si is less than delta. So they satisfy this the condition 1. Okay, the criteria 1. So hence mod of mi minus small mi is mod of fti minus f of si, and this is less than epsilon by b minus a. This happens by the equation 1, by the condition 1. So yeah, so this is less than epsilon by b minus a. So what is UPF minus LPF? It is summation of mi minus capital Mi minus small mi into xi minus 1, and this quantity is less than epsilon by b minus a. So it is strictly less than epsilon by b minus a multiplied with this sum, and this sum, as you know, is b minus a. So it is ultimately less than epsilon. UPF minus LPF is less than epsilon. Thus, what I have seen, we have seen that for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta, which is given by epsilon by b minus a. Oh, sorry. There exists a delta which is given by this uniform continuity of f, and such that UPF minus LPF is less than epsilon for every partition P with norm P less than delta. Hence f is integrable. So continuity, it is to be noted that continuity is a sufficient condition for integrability. Right? Every continuous function is integrable, but the converse is not true, that the continuity is not a necessary condition for integrability. There are many functions that are integrable but not continuous. We will see those examples later in the very next video. We will see those examples. So thank you for today.